Alright. So, let's see where we got last time. Okay. So we've got all of our controls here. Is anybody not using the link that I put up? Is anybody using their own stuff? Okay, well, that's cool. It looks like everything's parented down the chain here. Everything's moving pretty good. So everything from the head down through the neck, down through the spine, should all be parented to that hip control. So everything's parented up the chain. So if you rotate things up the chain, and you can select a control and hit E to rotate, and should rotate things down the chain. One of the things that we can do very quickly is add some more of these controls onto the tail. So if you go over to curves, the curves tab in the upper left, and click a curves circle. I'm just going to go to show hide and turn off my geometry because I know there's a tail there. Create a curves circle, and then if you hold V, that will snap to a bone when you move it. Move is W. And what you can do is just create a few circles and snap them to those joints. Just like we did the spine. Snap them on down.
Just parent the circles to the joints?
We're not parenting anything just yet. We're just creating joints and creating controls and snapping them to joints. That's it. Hold V when you move, and it will snap to a joint.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
They can eat leaves, eat giraffes, but usually the giraffes' long necks let them see trouble coming and they just run away before the lions can catch them. That's why giraffes travel in...
Looking at these back legs. These back legs are actually bent backwards, which is like weird. I never noticed that about giraffes
birds.
before,
There's always someone watching for trouble. To stay safe, giraffes stay standing up almost all of the time.
So they don't
They eat standing up,
actually bend.
they sleep standing up,
Back legs
they
actually
even
never
have their babies while
bend
they're standing up.
forward like a knee.
You might think that the giraffe's neck has a lot of same
It's
bird.
interesting. They always
They fight by swinging their
bend
necks at each
backwards,
other.
which is cool.
It may not look like fighting, but giraffes can really be. Tell the difference. They sleep standing up. They even have their babies.
So we don't have to worry about having it bend forward at all. It's just going to kind of stay backwards, which is cool. Alright, so everybody got your controls created here? Alright, so what we're going to do is we are going to select all of the controls from the tail, and then we're going to delete history and freeze transformations. So edit, delete by type history, modify, freeze transformations. And then what I'm going to have you guys do is you're going to parent constrain the controls to each joint, and then you're going to parent each joint starting from the tip of the tail down the joint, or parent each control to the other control, down to the other control, down to the other control, so it operates just like the neck and spine controls. So you need to parent them to each other after you constrain them to each joint. I'll show you how to do that. So again, edit, delete by type history, modify, freeze transformations on the controls. Then in the upper left, you're going to change the modeling drop down to rigging, and then up in constrain we have the parent constrain option box. And all you do is you select a control, then shift select the joint, and then hit apply. And then the controller will now control the joint. And you'll see that when you select the control, the joint will turn pink. So then you select the control, the joint, apply, control, joint, apply, control, joint, apply. Then you'll parent the tip controller to the next one down. P is parent. Select the next controller, then the next one, P for parent, next one, P for parent. And then you're going to parent the tail to the hip. Parent the tail control to the hip control. So when you rotate the hip control, it rotates all the tail controllers.
You must parent it from the top to the bottom first.
So you're going to parent the first you need to constrain the controls to the joints. Then you need to parent this one to this one, then this one to this one, then this one to this one. So from the tip of the tail down, so if you select the top tail control, it rotates everything down the tail chain. And if you and you're going to parent that to the hip. So when you rotate the hip, it should rotate every single control. So you just came in. I'm gonna put the link for the assets up on the. Okay. Yes. Okay. Where did you got this link here?
I mean, at that point, I'm just trying to do what you're doing right now.
But did you get the files off this link?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so click where it says curves up in the upper.
I got the tail rings.
Awesome.
Hey, which one did you click for the hip? I mean, for the top tail?
This one?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the top tail control will control all of them. So again, you got to constrain the joints to the controls first, then you parent the controls to each other. Say again?
Running currently.
Yeah, so when you move the hip, it will move the tail.
Okay, so I parent the hip one to the tail, or my
You parent the tail to the hip, so when you rotate the hip, control, it will move the tail.
my overflow. I get the
I have an issue with my tail.
Huh?
I have an issue with my tail. So if I grab the control, it'll bend the tail. But if I grab the joint, it'll rotate it perfectly.
Can I get the leak real quick? Sorry about that.
Say again?
So if I select the joint, rotate, it moves fine. But if I go and select control, it'll bend it.
Right. So the issue is you've done all this correctly, and parented all of these to each other correctly. That controller is not driving these joints.
Okay, so
Just miss that one.
I'm going to bring it here, press apply.
Hit undo. Yeah, activate the
Yeah, it's probably.
Okay. Click on that controller. Another controller. Should be. We're gonna unparent that. Now try and rotate. Hit the top tail. See what happens. Nothing. That's cool. Undo.
Is it because this the parent?
Alright, so click the top tail control. Just select the joint. And then apply. Alright, just click the joint. Go to Windows, General Editors, Hypergraphier. No. Alright. That'll zoom right to the zero. Now, click that button up there. Yeah, that does is it's called it's like zooms in on all the connections for the back.
Okay.
So we're just trying to see if you can accidentally added.
If you move to a joint, it should snap to the joint. Okay, so you're just duplicate a bunch of multiple joints and then
Right, I go to the
It's like the
well, you have to retrieve the transformation controller. Yeah,
there's a problem. You didn't delete history and freeze transformations of your controls. So just unparent all your controls so you can shift P. Yep, shift P. And then this one. And now you need to delete the constraints on all those joints. So select a joint.
all the joints.
Yes. So let me show you something. So select the top joint. And then go to select.
I just messed it up.
It's going to select everything down the chain. And go to Windows. General Editors. Hypergraphier. Got low button. Next one. Okay. Zoom in on that. Make this full screen so you see all this crap. Alright, zoom in on that. Okay, now you have all tail joints selected here. What we're looking for is all the constraints. So where are the constraints at? And it says a constraint deleted. Deleted. Oh. Any other constraints? Alright, close this. Alright, just like all your controls. Yep. What? That's correct. Yes.
Oh, so this one.
Alright, you guys help each other.
Can I have the URL link? Let me
control to joint?
Say again?
It's control to joint or joint to control for parenting?
So you need to constrain the control to the joint first, then you parent the controls to each other.
Okay, so select the control and the joint.
Correct. Then constrain. Parent constrain.
We're here for a while.
that one. See how those two are white now? Can I go up? Click that one, shift click that one, press E. Okay, and then now click on the top one. Press E, and then try to rotate.
Oh. Okay.
So you...
I messed up somewhere.
Because the joint would highlight.
Hey Chris, do you know if this guy was here last week?
There you go. There. Is this small or yours?
Definitely not right with how I made mine. I think it's the ring placement. I think it's the node placement that's probably messing it up.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. Let's go all the way back here.
We might as well just reopen it. Let's just Yeah. I
Alright, we all caught up here?
Give you guys 1 second.
Okay. Alright. So, we need to... I'm going to do anything with this face here. Let's not mess with the eyes just yet. Alright, everybody got this tail working? Cool. So let's do some legs stuff. So legs are weird. I'm just going to go ahead and preface that. We should do one leg, and then you guys can do all the others. Basically, these front legs are going to operate, they're going to bend knee forward, and the back legs will bend like a knee in reverse, okay? So in order to construct a leg, we need a few items, okay? We need a NURBS curve on the floor by the hoof. So start with that. Okay, let's go ahead and do the left front leg. So guys, look up here. Let me show you a trick. So if you build a NURBS curve on the floor, okay, if you hold V, you can snap it. I'm just gonna hide my polygons here. You can snap it to the hoof or the ankle, right? And then if you hold X, it will stay on this axis here, and then you can snap it to the floor. So it'll stay on the axis, but it will snap to the grid. So X snaps to grid, V snaps to stuff. So if you hold V, you'll snap to the ankle. Then if you hold X, it will stay on the axis of the ankle, but then you can snap it to the grid. If that makes sense. So it's directly under the ankle, which is what we want. And then you can, like... Actually, you know what? It really doesn't freaking matter. Now that I think about it, just move that damn circle so that it encompasses the hoof. Really, really doesn't matter. Sometimes I try and, like, when you're doing rigging stuff, you try and be, like, really perfect about everything that you do. And, man, there's good and there's good enough. So we'll need a circle on the hoof, and that circle is snapped to the grid, okay? And then the next item that we're going to need is what we call a locator. And I believe locators are... they're in the rigging tab, and it's the far left little sprocket looking thing, and it looks like this. Looks like a sprocket. Green sprocket. Okay. We'll need one of those out in front of the knee. And then I need you to duplicate that circle, and then we're going to make a clavicle control, which is going to be up here to this joint above the shoulder. Snap, yes, always snap to joints. So again, just to recap here, we have a circle by the hoof. We have a locator out in space in front of the knee, and then we have a clavicle control, which is above the left shoulder. Okay. Now the knee control, you want to snap to the knee. So you'll V snap that to the knee, and then you'll just grab the arrow and just move that out in space. So you want it to be on the same axis as the knee. So that's very easy to do. Again, you just snap the controller to the knee and then just move that out in space. Okay? You can move it out about, in the channel box, you can type in 5 in translate Z.
Do we do anything with the history of freeze transformation?
Not yet. But you will. Once you create all 3 of those controls, the clavicle control, the knee control, and the foot control, delete history, freeze transformations.
When we mess with the circles.
What?
When we mess with the circles.
What?
When do we mess with the circles?
When do you mess with the circles?
No, I'm asking, like, when do we do the thing you just described as fast as to do?
Now.
No.
Once they're all in place, do it. Once the circles are, once the clavicle control is snapped to the clavicle joint and sized the way you want it, once the hoof one is on the floor and sized the way you want it, and once the knee is out in front of the knee and sized the way you want it, edit, delete by type, history, modify, freeze, transformations. So I have the controls selected that I need you guys to create, okay? You can just look up here. There's 1, 2, 3 of them. This one, and this one. And then delete history, freeze transformations. Okay. Alright, so now, is everybody done? Okay. So now, click on the rigging tab. Now, to the right of the locator is what we call, actually, that's the joint icon. The one to the right of that is called create IK handle. Okay, we're gonna need to create some IKs for these joints. Okay, so go ahead and double click the IK tool, and when you double click the IK tool, most of the time in Maya, like when you're working with like these weird like setting, or when you're working with these tools, you can double click the tool to see the tool options. Most of the time, the standard tool options probably aren't going to do what you want them to do. You're going to have to make adjustments. Okay, so there's a drop down box here. Again, double click the IK tool here. And there's a drop down box here. You want to make sure that that's set to rotate plane solver. Rotate plane solver. Please don't miss this step. It's very important. If we set up your entire leg and you don't have this set, you're going to have to delete what you do and reset up your entire leg. Okay? Double click the IK tool, make sure it's set to rotate plane solver. All right. Now, the next thing, click your arrow tool on the left. What we're going to do is select all of our leg joints. From the upper leg down, like this. I just drag a box over them like this. Just select them, shift select them. And you're going to go up to skeleton, set preferred angle. Skeleton set preferred angle. And what that's going to do is it's going to tell Maya that the bones that we have, the position of the bones that we have right now is going to be their base position for when we start moving stuff around with the IKs, okay? Alright, so now let's go ahead and create our IK. All you're going to do to create an IK is you're going to click the... Actually, everybody look up here real quick. Let me just show you, and then you guys can do it, okay? So, click the IK tool one time. You're going to get a little crosshairs. You're going to use that crosshairs to shoot the upper leg. Then you're going to shoot the ankle. And it's going to create an IK handle, which you can move around, which will move the entire leg like this, okay? So go ahead and do that. Click your tool. Again, one from the upper leg, skip the knee, and then click on the ankle.
Did we also select all 4 of them?
No, you just do it. You select all 4 to set preferred angle, and then one leg at a time. Unfortunately, when you're doing inverse kinematics or IK, you have to do one limb at a time. Unfortunately, there's no way to like. So just a fun fact here, you guys remember when we did the Mixamo demo at the beginning of this class, right? Do you guys remember there was a button that we clicked that was called rig character? Remember that button? Auto rig. Well, that button basically analyzed the character, went through, created all the bones, went through, created all the IK, went through, created all the controls, and finalized the rig for you with one button click. Okay, how long have we been working on this, Giraffe?
3 classes.
So you'll see why I like Mixamo.
That's only really because we still kind of learning stuff. That's why we're just
Yeah, so that's what's cool about this rigging class. Like, I'll show you the Mixamo stuff, and then we'll go through and we'll do this old school shit, and you'll learn the...
Is the IK backwards on his knee? On yours?
Oh no, it is backwards.
Yeah.
I just noticed that. That's a problem.
Didn't want you to get too excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to bend the knee first?
Hang on a second, let me...
Like, if this is a hind leg,
So typically, let me show you guys.
that's just weird. None of that.
So typically, if you have bones that are bent in a certain direction, Maya will understand that the knee needs to bend this way. But if you have something that's straight down like this, Maya will just guess at which way it's supposed to bend. So you always want to, when you're creating a knee, you always want to put like a little slight bend in the knee. I don't exactly know how to get around this, to be honest with you. Because the problem is this giraffe's legs are straight up and down. I think I tried to put a slight bend in this. Actually, I do know how to get around this. Delete your IK. To delete your IK, you just drag a box over the ankle, and it will auto-select the IK. And, 'cause, 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 ' Okay, fixed. Let me show you guys how I fix that. Okay, cool. Yeah, so like I said, when you're making a knee and you want it to bend in the right direction, it always needs to have a slight bend in it, okay? When I made this, I think I tried to make a slight bend, but these legs are straight up and down, and that's a problem. This is why it's always good to, like, when you're on a team and you're working a team, when you have a modeler that's modeling stuff, the modeler needs to talk to the rigger, okay? And the rigger needs to talk to the animator. Like, everybody needs to communicate, or else you're going to have problems like this. You're going to have modelers building legs that are straight up and down, which is not conducive for rigging. And then you're going to have, you know, then you're going to have rigs that don't work that are not conducive for animators. So, like, you know, when you're an artist or a rigger or an animator or whatever, remember, you're not working in a bubble. It's not just you. Somebody, once you finish your work, you got to give it to somebody else, and they have to, you know, it has to be set up correctly for them to do their stuff correctly. Anyway, this is really easy. I'm going to show you guys how to do this. Just watch up here, okay? So since this is already rigged, if I wanted to, like, what I need to do is put a slight bend in the knee. But since this is already rigged, if I bend the knee, broke my rigging. Okay. Oh my god. Problems galore. Okay. Since it's already rigged, I can't move these bones, right? I can't, if I put a slight bend in the knee, it's going to move everything. So what we need to do is we need to use a tool called the Move Skinned Joints tool. And all we're going to do, and just watch this real quick, very easy. We're just going to, I'm going to drag a box over the ankles, hit W to move, and then I'm going to go Move Skin Joints tool, and I'm going to move the ankles back just a little bit, and it will allow me to move the joints while they're skinned, which will cause a bend in the knee. Then I can go back, create my IK from the shoulder to the ankle. Then when I move it, the knee will bend correctly. Okay? So again, you're going to select the ankles, go to Move Skin Joints tool, and then you're going to move those ankles just back a little bit, which will create a bend in the knee, so that when you create your IK, it will bend in the right direction. So this is what's fun about rigging and teaching at the same time, is that oftentimes you'll have to, like, try things 2 or 3 times to get it to work correctly. It doesn't always work right the first time, right? So it's like, sometimes we'll do this during these lectures where we'll have to, like, go back and fix it, right? Not yet. We're going to finish one leg, and then you guys can do all the other legs. All right. So, continuing with this leg. Oh, shit. All right. So, the next thing we want to do is create another IK from the ankle to the toe. So just click your IK tool, ankle to toe, and then I want you to parent the toe IK to the ankle IK. So select the toe IK, shift select the ankle IK, and then parent. That's odd. Weird. When I tried to parent that, it wouldn't let me parent it. So in the hypergraph hierarchy, which is under Windows General Editor's hypergraph hierarchy, you can middle mouse drag IK handle 1 under IK handle 2, which will parent it. Like this. So when you select the top IK, you want that to rotate the bottom one. Like this. If that makes sense. So again, all we did was we created another IK from the ankle to the toe, and then you parented the toe IK to the ankle IK. And to do that, I used the hypergraph hierarchy and middle mouse dragged IK handle 2 under IK handle 1 because for some strange reason it won't let me parent those. And I don't know why.
Where's your IK handle 3 4?
There's only 2 IK handles in the scene.
Oh, yeah. You only use one right
Now the next step is you're going to parent the IK handle 1 under the hoof circle. So again, you can middle mouse drag that under the hoof circle. So the hoof will drive the entire IK system. So if you look up here, you can see I've got my toe IK parented to the ankle IK and the ankle IK parented to the hoof control.
So you have one for, we have an IK for the toe and ankle.
From the ankle to the toe, yes.
Mine says warning. Handle 2 script already have a child parent.
We have 3 IKs? No, we have 2 IKs. Oh.
Who needs help?
Is that 1, 2?
So I'll walk you through what we did again, just to recap. So we've created another IK from the ankle to the toe. then we've parented the toe IK to the ankle IK, then we parented the ankle IK to the hoof controller. And to parent, all you do is middle mouse drag those underneath each other in the hypergraph hierarchy, which is in Windows General Editor's hypergraph hierarchy. For whatever reason, it's not letting me parent them in the editor view, which is weird.
If it's letting you, you don't have to go to the hyperarch though, right?
If it's letting you, yeah, go for it. It's not letting me. It's some bug or something.
Can you move it to see if mine matches?
Yeah, so when you grab the hoof, it should move like this. And you can also rotate it. Does it move like that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
No problem. Who needs help?
Comparing my second IK to the toe and ankle.
Can somebody help him?
It constantly.
Can you help him? Oh,
Well,
he's still
I paired it.
confused
but
here.
No, I know what I'm doing. It's just like it's giving me this weird like effect on the. Oh, it's not an effect, it's feature.
Nice. All right, the next step is we're gonna use this knee controller here. We're gonna put that in. It's very easy to do that. Under Constrain is something called pole vector. And what we're going to do is select the knee control, then select the ankle IK, and then go to Constrain pole vector. Then when you move the knee control, the knee will point in that direction. I'll go over that again. So you're going to select the knee controller, shift select the ankle IK, then go to Constrain pole vector. Constrain pole vector. So that way when you bend the knee out, you can move the knee control and the knee will point wherever that locator is pointing. And then you want to parent the locator, the knee locator, to the hoof control so that whenever you move the hoof control, the knee locator stays out in front of it, like this. Say again? Yes. So in order to connect the knee control in, you select the knee controller, shift select the ankle IK, and then go up to Constrain pole vector.
Oh, wait. The knee controller?
There's a knee controller.
Yeah.
It's a locator. Click.
Oh yeah, but how do you turn it into the knee controller? It's just like a random.
Right. So select shift.
The last step you guys are going to do is this clavicle control. You're just going to constrain it to the clavicle joint, parent constrain it just like all these other ones up here, and then parent it to the upper spine control. So select the clavicle control, shift select the joint, constrain parent, then you're going to select the controller and parent it to the upper spine joint.
Now then, whenever you use this, other way.
Turn this to a circle thing.
Okay.
Can you go over that last part one more time real quick?
The last part? Yeah, so you have a clavicle control here. You're just going to constrain this to the clavicle joint using constrain parent. Then you're going to parent it to the spine control that's closest to it. Say what?
I listened to that for 8 hours yesterday. Like the entire thing. It was a trip.
So, what's the deal here? Like, there's people trying to bash this Supreme Court judge.
The Supreme Court nominee, like a new nominee, there were accusations levied against him, so they had the person on to talk about it, and they had him talk. And it was just one big PR stunt, so that they could stall time.
Has to do with like the
That doesn't sound right,
midterm
though.
election.
I know it doesn't.
Isn't one of the people who came out before the nomination was even called?
Yeah, like 48 years ago, or something crazy like that.
Yeah, so I don't recall that bringing it up now or anything stupid like that.
You think that actually happened? That
Yeah.
this Supreme Court judge, what does it say? Assaulted her in the 1980s during a high school house party. Testified that he held her down and grinded on her as he tried to take off her one-piece bathing suit.
Yeah, he did that.
Why do you think he didn't do it?
Because his testimony was a lot more believable than her testimony.
Which was what? What was his testimony?
What was his?
It was a lot more believable. You just need to listen to it.
Okay.
If you're not going to give specifics, I can't believe it.
Why are you believing her then?
All right, are we like done here?
I don't know what's going on.
Is this what happened was type moment? All right, just why don't you skip that leg and you can start on the other leg and then go back to the other leg. Delete the. Here's the thing about rigging. Like, if something's not working, you just delete the controls.
No,
Do it over.
The handles work. It's just like there's a weird thing that happens with the hoof.
Yeah.
The hoof.
You make the rewind the skin move.
You guys ever seen? What's that movie? Goodfellas.
Like you move and it just like does this.
I mean, that honestly is the best description.
Delete the controls, redo it. Well, just do another leg when we get there. We need to finish this one leg here because we're not finishing it. So just forget it for now. You can redo it, okay? Okay, I told you guys. All right, so we got the clavicle control parented in here. When you rotate the everybody look up here, please. When you rotate the clavicle control, it should do this. Okay, and that is parented to the upper spine. Okay, and if you rotate him around, he'll do the Harlem Shake a little bit. I told you guys I wanted you to parent the locator to the hoof control, but I don't want you to do that. I changed my mind because I'll show you why. If you parent that to the hoof control, it moves, which is great, but if you rotate the hoof control, it rotates the controller. I don't want that. So what we're going to do, instead of parenting, so I want you to unparent the knee control. So select the knee control, Shift P, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to use a constraint called point constrain instead. And what the point constraint is going to do, make sure that maintain offset box is checked. What the point constraint is going to do is it's going to constrain the locator to the hoof control, but only with movement. So when I rotate it, it won't rotate. It's just going to move. Okay, and actually there's a problem. You can't directly constrain a control that you want an animator to key, because if you key that control, it's gonna stop the constraint from working. So what you have to do, guys, just look up here real quick. It's gonna be easier if I just show you. So instead of directly point constraining the knee to the hoof control, we're going to group we're going to add a group. Okay. Control G. We're going to group the locator. Okay. And then what we'll do is we're going to then constrain the group, which will control the locator, to the hoof control. But problem is, when you group something, it always puts the pivot point to the center of the grid. So you'll just have to select the group and then go modify center pivot to snap the pivot point to the center of the locator. Then all you do is select the hoof control, then select the group, and then apply. That way, the controller moves the knee, it won't rotate, and you can move the controller and key that if you want to, if that makes sense. Was that way too many steps?
Yes.
Alright, I'll go over that again step by step. Okay? Step number 1. Group the knee control. Select it, Control G. Step number 2. With the group selected, modify center pivot. Step number 3. What's up?
What's up, Chris?
Step number 3. Select the hoof control, shift select the group, then hit apply in your point constraint options. Now make sure the checkbox for the maintain offset is checked when you do that. So when you move the hoof control, it moves the knee control, but when you rotate it, it will not rotate that control, and then you can move the knee control independently. I got a Skype call in like 12 minutes. What's up?
What's going on? Hey, so what I was trying to do for a script.
Oh, cool.
So like Marla Cat, when she strikes, because then I'll put the information. What do they call it? Well, anyway, but when she strikes, she'll say, "Hey, yeah, who's next?" You know, I'm just trying to get it scripted out. So, like in the end, she'll say, "Hey, come on, White Fang. You come straight out of a comic book. You will never listen. I've told you before, your kung fu's not good enough. The Dragon Ninja Clan rocks the world."
Crazy.
You like that?
It's crazy.
Huh?
It's crazy.
You don't like that?
No, I like it.
Okay, cool.
I mean,
Crazy good.
Crazy's good.
Okay,
Yeah.
crazy good. All right. So I'm just trying to create the when they get messed up, they'll say something, of course, right? Like what they don't say. You follow me?
I do.
Because I'm just gonna add. So when I go to the studio, I'm gonna have the artist like White Fang. White Fang will say, let me see. I got a little script on here.
Does anybody need any help?
Yeah, whenever I do the pull constraint,
Uh-huh.
it snaps to the foot.
So hold on, say that again.
Whenever I do the point constraint, it's just.
Oh yeah, right. Make sure there's a checkbox and it's called maintain offset.
Got it.
Maintain offset will maintain the offset.
Got it. Okay.
So White Fang, this is the end, like the last battle. You know, when we get to the main
Yes.
boss. So White Fang will say, so you think you can beat me, huh?
Perfect.
You know, there's not a man among you. That's
Perfect.
cool. Yeah. So I'm just trying to get scripted
Okay.
on every sequence. Because, like, if I know sequence, I can write to it. And it don't have to be long. Because, like, when Marla Cat attack, hey, yeah. You know,
Do
and
you
then,
have this in a digital format? Like a
Just-
document?
no, this I just created this morning.
What did you
in-
type this in?
In Word. I just did a Word.
Okay, can you send me the Word files when you're done?
Yeah, but I got a lot to write. I mean, this is like the first thing I'm doing.
Perfect.
But each character would have to have like, let's say if they get jacked up or something, when they get jacked up, they'll say something like, "Oh man,"
And they die.
yeah,
Yeah. So we were talking about
you
death.
got me, you know.
We were talking about death yesterday.
Yeah, like
So when you die right now, when you die, okay, so there's levels,
Right.
right? The levels are relatively short. So when you die, if you're playing four of
Right.
us playing, when you die, you have one life or one gauge of health,
right,
and there's health pickups along the way,
right,
and your job is to not die.
absolutely.
But if you die, you gotta wait until the next level, until you can come in again. That's how we
Okay.
have it set up right
Okay,
now.
cool.
We went over it, and we were talking about giving them different lives, and we were talking about having the other guys be able to revive them or something like that. But we came to it where we were like, you know what? We're going to design it to where it's not going to be too hard
Right.
to complete it without entire health, one level.
And Chris,
So-
when they are actually saying this, the mask is just moving. You follow me?
Yeah.
It's just moving like they're talking. Only when they're talking, the mask will move, and it don't make a difference.
Yeah. Let me show these guys one thing.
Okay, cool.
Hey guys, I want to complete this leg. All of the legs are all the same, okay? I just want to complete this leg real quick to show you guys, and then you guys can move on and create your controls for the other legs here, okay? The last step in this process is you're just going to parent the hoof control to the main control, okay? You're going to parent the hoof control to the main control, then parent the hip control to the main control. And then you'll see that the knee control is like out in space doing its thing. We would need to use a orient constraint on the knee control group from the main controller. Is that right? If I move this, yeah, so there's hypergraph hierarchy.
I got a quick question.
Hang on a sec, Corey. Yeah, so you would select the main controller, then shift select the group for the knee, and then orient constrain, apply. That way when you move the main, rotate the main controller. That's not working. That is working. I think I'm making this more complicated than I need to. Okay, yeah, you just parent the knee control group to the main circle. So the knee control group will go under the main circle. So all I did was I parented the hoof control to the main circle, so that moves with the main circle. I parented the hip control also to the main circle, and then I parented the knee control also, the knee control group to the main circle. So when you move the main circle, it moves everything. See this? Guys, look up here. When you move the main circle, it needs to move everything, okay? So hip, hoof, and knee group control get parented to the main circle so that under the hypergraph hierarchy, you have your main circle here, and all your controls are under the main circle. And you've got that knee group under the main circle as well. And that will complete your leg and add it to your control system. I got a Skype call in 4 minutes. Anything else?
This is my game cards.
Love it. I wanted to show you something.
Okay.
What's that, Corey? Did you have a question? The hip control? The hip control? Oh, this one.
Oh, that.
Yeah. I wanted to show you something.
So Chris, when they
What's
die,
that?
when they die, guess what I'm gonna say?
What?
I got it.
What?
We were just talking. When they die, they'll say, "Try this ninja clan forever," and
That's
I'll
awesome.
fade it out.
Do you know what a spreadsheet is?
Yeah, I got a
Excel.
Excel. Yeah.
Can you put that in Excel? That would be really helpful.
But here's the best thing to do.
What's that?
Is to take the people in the studio and do an audio, and then you have a whole audio file.
Yes.
That's the.
But,
So
but
when-
you can break it up into individual files, individual lines, right? So each file will be an individual line.
Well, you could take the audio file and separate the audio file and just put in what you want to put in. You follow me?
I'm going to have to come to this record session
Okay, that's no problem. Yeah.
just so we don't...
No. I've done it before.
I know you
That's
have.
how I do my
I'm
music.
saying that we need the files like certain ways, though.
Okay. If you take a WAV file, what you need?
Well, I just need them separated. I don't need everything in one massive file. Like, this line needs to be its own file. This line needs to be its own file. This line needs to be its own file. Check this out. Check this out.
Okay.
So we got, it's not final yet, but we got climbing work.
Okay. Wow.
And then it's just in like a prototype phase right now, but
It looks like when Spider-Man first starts to
get to
fly.
the top. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was
Very cool.
actually quite hard to do. It doesn't look very hard, but
Yeah. Do that again, man.
and the other thing is we have it to where you can jump on the wall and then attach,
Okay.
but
Cool.
but it shifts him down. Again, it's buggy
And
right
like
now.
a perfect position. But I got a good question. Now they're gonna be kicking and stuff too, right?
Right.
Okay. Cool.
What do you mean by kicking?
Kicking. They do martial arts.
Of course, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You mean like, well, this guy's got a sword, so he didn't really do a whole lot of kicking, but Sidekick will be doing tons of brawling and kicking and stuff.
Okay.
And then I can't remember what we decided for all the characters and their moves, but we've got those all written down somewhere. Yeah, this guy, this is Dragon Master here, so he'll be mostly sword-based combat.
You know, Howard is a professional audio. He went to school for audio,
Great.
so that'll be easy to separate files.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
good. So I have them do them in sequence separately, so that when I give you an audio file, they'll all be separate. So when Marlocat's attacking, you'll be able to use that file. Hi-ya! Who's next? Hi.